what's up everyone, TJ here. Today we're back out riding Copper and we're gonna take a look at the Season Kin snowboard. In this video, I'll go through all the tech you're gonna find in this board and share some feedback on how it's feeling out here on snow. Let's get out there. All right, for reference, before we get into the tech, I'm 5'10", I weigh around 150 pounds, and we're on the Kin 152 today. So the Kin is an all-mountain freestyle focused board on the Season lineup, and it's the most park-friendly board on their line. It is a directional twin, so has a twin shape, but does have a couple directional features, particularly a 4mm taper, so a slightly narrower tail than nose, as well as a 15mm setback. So the bindings are shifted a little bit closer to the tail. That's gonna offer a little bit of a benefit in soft snow and in powder if you do end up on this board on a powder day, but overall should have a pretty comfortable feel in the park doing freestyle stuff and riding switch. You are gonna find a full positive camber profile in the Kin, so it's gonna come through with that more energetic, snappy feel that you'd expect out of positive camber. It does have a tiny rocker blend right as you get to the contact points for better, smoother turn initiation and to make it a little bit less hooky when you're flat base. But overall, should have a nice energetic camber feel to it. They also included what Season calls their 360-degree double damping sidewalls, which is a full wrap ABS sidewall. Has some nice dampening properties to it to help mellow out vibrations as you're cruising around, maybe hitting some variable or choppy snow, and just gonna overall give the board a smoother ride, as well as a sintered base, which is a higher end base material known to be harder, faster, and more durable compared to an extruded base. And the last thing I want to mention is that the Kin, as well as the rest of the Season lineup, is gender inclusive. So they don't make a men's or women's specific model. They just focus on the shape and the design of the board and offer it in a huge variety of sizes. So you can find the Kin anywhere from a 142 all the way up to a 161. They pretty much got everybody covered. And I think that's gonna do it for a quick tech breakdown out here. We're gonna get these laps going here at Copper and we'll check back in later in the day. All right, it's been a great day out here testing out the Kin, and let's start off talking about the flex. So overall, this is gonna be a very playful and pressable snowboard with a softer flex. It's got a very easy to control, manageable feel to it. Gonna help you out getting those taller, more exaggerated presses if that's something that you'd like to do. And it is a little bit softer in the tips, which is nice for that kind of stuff, for presses and butters and flat ground tricks. Also has a great feel in the park. It is pretty soft torsionally as well, so when you try to twist the snowboard, so that gives the board better maneuverability at slower speeds and is gonna help make those fine-tuned adjustments on the setup for park features. And like I mentioned, the feel of the flex in this snowboard is a lot of fun for butters and flat ground tricks. Definitely a highlight in this board for me. Can really just lean into the nose or tail with pretty minimal effort and get a press going. And as you start to put more proper technique and effort into it, you can really get those tall presses. And I didn't find that it was particularly catchy either, even though it does have that full positive camber profile. You know, I would recommend paying attention to your edge control just to make sure. You know, never want to catch your edge out there when you're trying that kind of stuff, but wasn't something that I felt I really had to keep in mind. And it offers some good pop and energy as well, something that has a really good feel to it on the way out of those flat ground tricks, but also something that I found was noticeable when you're out there carving. As you're transitioning from edge to edge, you can load up that camber. You can feel that energy in the board spring you as you transition from turn to turn, which is a lot of fun and elevates that carving experience a little bit. And when it comes to carving, a couple specs worth mentioning is the 24.8 centimeter waist width that you'll find on the 152, combined with a 7.9 meter side cut. So this does have a pretty above average side cut for this size snowboard. Gonna naturally throw you into longer, more drawn out turns that has a comfortable feel at higher speeds. But with how soft this board is, it really doesn't make it too difficult to modulate how aggressive the turn is just by putting more pressure and more weight and commitment into your turn. You can tighten up that radius, get more flex out of it. So still has a really versatile feel for it out there carving. The two drawbacks I would say is that waist width. While that does help offer quick edge-to-edge transitions, it is going to be a little limiting when it comes to how aggressive you can lean the board over, trying more technical carves like Euro carves or laid out carves and things like that. As you try to do those more aggressive edge angles, you might find a little bit of heel and toe drag, particularly if you have a larger boot size, but they do offer this board in a wide if you're in that boat. And the other thing you might notice is a little bit of chatter in the nose and tail as you start to take this board up to higher speeds. Wasn't something that really threw me off today. I never felt squirrely out there. I think this board does hold an edge very well and offers a pretty fun carving experience, but that's definitely not going to be the strong point for this one. I was able to get quite a few park laps out here at Copper today as well, and I'd say the Kin is definitely a little bit more jib leaning when it comes to park riding. With the softer Flex, it's just geared a little bit more towards working on those technical tricks, learning spin on and spin off of rails. That torsional Flex can really help out with that and make learning those types of tricks a little bit easier. Also going to make it much easier for you to work on presses if that's something that you're interested in working on. But overall, it is pretty versatile, still feels good on the jumps. But as you start to step up to those higher impact features, you definitely want to focus on landing more centered, more bolts on this board, just because there isn't a ton of stability in the nose and tail. If you really find yourself in a situation where you're relying on that tail to bring you back down on the snow, I'd say there's a pretty good chance you're going to wash out or loop out. But overall, really fun park board all around, but particularly if you're more focused on the rails and the jibs. And I do want to quickly talk about how this board might feel in powder as well. Obviously, it's like a slushy spring day out here right now, but you know, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you are going to find a 4mm taper, so less surface area in the tail, as well as a 15mm setback, so your weight's naturally a little bit further back. So those two things are probably going to offer a little bit better powder performance than your typical true twin. I also think the softer Flex in the tips might be a little bit helpful in soft snow, but definitely not going to be a specialty for this board. But if you are out there, you know, and you happen to find some powder in the trees, or you just want to use this as your one board, you do have a little bit of a benefit when it comes to riding powder. I think the Kin could be a good choice to look at if you're just getting into snowboarding. It's definitely a board that I wouldn't hesitate to recommend to more beginner riders. Going to be helpful for learning the fundamentals, whether that's making your first turns or you're out there trying to learn park fundamentals. It's a pretty versatile board as well. I think it's something you could really grow into as a more beginner rider. And I think it could also be a fun choice for you more experienced riders who are looking for a more playful, pressable board with a manageable, easy to control feel that still offers a little bit of versatility to it for more exploring and all mountain focused riding. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, definitely consider the Season Kin. I'm gonna have this snowboard linked down in the description below if you want to read a little bit more about it. And if you've had a chance to ride this board, let us know what you think about it down in the comments below. You can leave any questions for me down there as well. Drop a like if you got some value out of this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I appreciate all you guys watching today. Thank you for being here, and we will see you in a new review next time.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. He's the man.
Woo! Yay! I might go at the end of the video.